right, here we are today at the conclusion of the 2018 Senior Bowl with Executive Director Phil Savage. Phil, this thing seems to get better and better every year. What are you doing?
Well, we work at it about 11 months out of the year, to be honest. And I tell you, I thought our rosters this year were particularly strong. They included players from across the country at every level of the sport. And these young guys, they were competitive. They had a lot of character. They showed a tremendous amount of compassion yesterday during our community service day, and then they came out here today and performed. I mean, there were some big-time plays in this game. The score wasn't close, but it was an entertaining game.
Yeah, very entertaining because we were just talking about it. We said, wait a minute, there's a lot of scoring this year. It hadn't been this much scoring in years past.
Yeah, that's right. It's hard to score and be productive on offense in an environment, situation like this. But I thought that both offenses, particularly the South offense, you know, they just were flying under the radar while Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen were getting all the attention. Those guys were on the other side saying, we're going to go to work. And I tell you what, they put it on display today.
It certainly was. I tell you, I was very impressed watching, the players from UCF. And they showed up really, really big and made some big plays.
Yeah, they did. And we were really happy to end up with some of those UCF players. Shaquem Griffin ended up being he was the only senior. And then the other two, Jordan Akins and Traquan Smith, were underclassmen graduates. And so that's how they got in the mix here. And Traquan had a touchdown. Jordan was terrific during the practices. And, of course, Shaquem Griffin, to me, was he was really the story of the game, of the week. Just the most inspiring player I think we've ever had come through here, at least in my opinion. And not only on the football field, but just in the overall context of what he represents and how he's going to influence people in the future.
Right, and so when you look at the whole week, were there just certain players that kind of stood out to you?
Well, we did our practice awards on Thursday night, and of course, that was Baker Mayfield at quarterback and Akram Wadley at running back, and then the receiver for us was James Washington from Oklahoma State. And so we recognized those individuals. MJ Stewart was the defensive back that stood out. North Carolina, Kamoko Toure from Rutgers had a good week. Marcus Davenport, to me, was putting it all together during the week, but then he played extremely well today, had a half a sack and a pressure, and was very, very active on the defensive line. So those were some of the names that just pop into my mind, but I don't know that there was really any downside for any of the players. I thought all of them competed hard. I thought that they put their best foot forward here, and now they get a chance to go focus on the underwear Olympics.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you, Phil, this is our third year coming, and this is our favorite thing to come to. The atmosphere is so positive. You got players coming here, they're so positive, they're so open, and they're looking for that opportunity to improve their stock. So how important is this with them participating here? How important is that for them?
Well, it's not the end-all be-all, but it is an important piece of the puzzle as these teams are putting their draft boards together and they're trying to make comparisons. And when you have the number of small college players we had here, which was 20 from the FCS level and lower, you throw them into the mix. Now you can make some reasonable comparisons between someone, from Dubuque to another player from Iowa, someone from South Carolina State to someone from Clemson, and all the way down the line. And so it's very helpful in that regard. The other thing is for the clubs, they get a chance to meet these players for the first time face to face. And that personality, what the young man's going to bring from intangible or leadership standpoint is really important as you're trying to build a team, because there's a distinction between collecting talent and building a team, and that personality is a big part of it.
Well, I think the one thing that's always missing, it's chemistry. You got to pick the right guy and bring that chemistry to the table.
No question about it. And, we talked to the players a lot this week about their character, their competitiveness, and then their compassion. And they get a chance to display all of those things, because your character will show when you got 1,000 people pulling at you. And, the frustration of it, and if you have a bad practice or you have a good practice, how do you respond the next day? So you can get a read on that character. You can get a read on the competitiveness in those practices. And then, of course, yesterday, I know this is our showcase event in terms of the week, But yesterday's my favorite day of the whole thing because these players go out all over Mobile and Baldwin County to the schools, the hospitals. We had a program set up yesterday through Reese's and the Feeding America organization called Feeding the Gulf Coast, which is the local food bank. And these players just responded and embraced that opportunity to make a difference in someone else's life.
Well, Phil, also, it looks like this whole program is designed to make differences in people's lives. So you do a great job. Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming back.
Sure.